everyone.
Dan, you said going into the match that this was more than just 3 points in a conference game. Do you still stand by that afterward?
How can you not, right? What an incredible effort. What a fantastic game as well. Again, we felt like we could cause them some problems and get chances, and we did. We definitely did. But that's a quality team we've just played as well. That's a huge win for RPI implications. It keeps us in touch and distance in the conference. But it's also going to be a memory that's going to stick with these young men for the rest of their lives, right? So to see that and then see the crowd at the end and have that moment, it was kind of cool actually from my perspective, just to be 25, 30 yards away from the chaos and just enjoy the views and enjoy the scenes and see how much it meant to everyone.
You've now been a part of 116 career wins at WVU as either a player, assistant, or head coach. So what does it mean to you?
Well, I didn't score today, so it doesn't mean as much as some of the other ones. No, it's fantastic, right? It can't be the pinnacle, right? I've said that before. I said that in 2021 when we beat Pitt. But if it can't be something that gives us a whole ton of belief and confidence that we can go toe-to-toe with anyone in the country, and when we really show the discipline and execution in the tactics we set out today, I mean, they couldn't have gone more perfect for us in that regard. So, yeah, look, we've got a tricky game at Coastal, and we've got to be really aware of what we can't let happen now between now and then. So, yeah, look, we have to enjoy it. We should enjoy it. We deserve to enjoy it. But we still have 3 games left. We still have a lot of work ahead of us.
You were up 1-0, or you were down 1-0, and all of a sudden 3 goals in a hurry. What was it that changed it? Changed the it changed the whole outcome.
Nothing necessarily. The only what was it? Well, we didn't panic. What was it that we stayed the course and stuck to our tactics and what it was we were trying to do? Yeah, I mean, obviously it's huge when you can equalise as early as we did, but yeah, then it just got better and better for that little period for sure.
Freddie's clearance, how
huge.
important was that?
Yeah, I think it's the most pivotal moment of the game probably. I think if you go in knowing that you were 3-1 up, knowing that you've scored three goals and you're not winning the game at half time, I think it's a slightly different take on things. I'm sure we still would have been incredibly positive with the guys and really proud of what we had done to that stage in the game. But yeah, I mean, anytime you score 3 goals in a half, you'd expect to be in the lead. So it definitely would have took a little bit of a knock in the confidence, especially in the nature of the clock counting down. But yeah, I mean, I said to the guys at half time, I was like, the reality is if we can keep a clean sheet, we can win the second half. However many goals you want to score is up to you. I think we can get 5 or 6. So again, that was pretty pleasing when it comes true.
What was your thoughts on the crowd before the game and during the game?
Yeah, look, I have to give a huge compliment to tickets, to facilities, to everyone in that department. We've had multiple meetings that we've never probably had to have before to make this an incredible atmosphere, to get as many people in here as we could possibly squeeze, and hopefully they come back, right? Hopefully we have to keep those bleachers there now. So again, a huge thank you to facilities and everything they had to go through to make this event as special as it was. And yeah, you'd like to think that it's not just a lasting memory for my players and my staff, but for those that were here to witness it as well.
They pushed really hard for a goal. Beginning of the second half, 5-10 minutes, you guys shut them down and then found the opening goal in the second half. How important was it for you guys to buckle down defensively early in the second half when they were really pushing hard?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, you're always going to expect whenever the team comes out behind at half-time, and then there's certainly a team as good as theirs, a number one in the country, that they're going to come with a push, right? Come with some intent and added impetus. I was actually getting to the point where I was a little concerned that we hadn't taken advantage of our momentum. Once it shifted, I thought we had a really good 15-20 minute spell where we were the dominant team, and all we just hadn't extended the lead. I was worried that it was only going to take one moment for them, as dangerous as they are, and yeah, sure enough, we scored again and then scored another one after that. So that allowed me to maybe enjoy it a little bit more than other games that have been a little tighter for sure.
How about the way Marcus played in a game like this to deliver?
Yeah, big players on big occasions, right? The message in this whole time has been, there's no need to fear anything today. There was no need to fear the worst case scenario. We're playing a team that no one has conquered, that has won 12 games in a row, that absolutely deserve to be number one in the country. They may well still be number one in the RPA even after losing today. So there'd have been no shame in playing the game today and not coming out on top, as long as we gave our best effort. So rather than fear that, let's go for it, right? Let's go and win the game. And yeah, he was fearless. We quickly learned that he probably had the physical dominance and better of it when it came to their two centre backs and the way they matched up, and he cashed in, took full advantage. So incredibly proud for him, and yeah, there might not be another person on the squad that deserves it as much as he does.
Dan, they like to play out of the back. You guys really took it to them with the press. What did you see there, and how did you feel you guys pressed?
Incredibly well. We had to be really measured. We had to get the balance right of doing enough to make sure we could affect it high, knowing that if we could catch them in a little mistake or force a mistake, we would get chances. But they're so dangerous that if they break that initial pressure, we still had to manage the second phase of that and the defensive five in the way that we set things up today. And we didn't get it perfect early in the game, and that was partly why we brought Ryan Bear off in the first half, just because he had to do so much work. We just needed to be a little bit brave with the two centre backs, which we talked about in training. But it's one thing to train it; it's another thing to be here in front of 3,000 people and do it. And I thought second half we executed it really well and nullified what they did in terms of their build. And it's such a huge part of their identity that, again, I think I went on record saying we need to turn their strength into their weakness, and I think we executed that part really well.
What statement did this game make about men's soccer in West Virginia?
It's in a good place. It's in good hands with Chris. Again, like, it takes two to tango, right? We don't have this occasion, this event, if we're not playing the number one team in the country. So you got to give credit to them and compliment to Chris as to how well he's built that team and how good of an opponent they are. They're going to be there and thereabouts without a doubt at the end of all of this season. I hope that gives us the belief, if we didn't have it before, that we can be there too.
What was the handshake like, the conversation at the end with him? Because I know your relationship is real strong.
Yeah, love the guy to death. I mean, you know, we met up last night as we kind of traditionally do and grabbed a glass of wine and just had a chat about life in general. It didn't necessarily have to be about football. Look, I've known him since 2012 and we spent 3 incredible years working together, and I owe him a lot. I wouldn't probably be here if I didn't go and work for Chris and learn some of the things I did along the way. So there's a mutual respect, right? It's we parted our time together by me saying, "Why did you have to take the Marshall Cup job?" Right? Like, I like you too much to have to hate the team you work for. So yeah, look, I'm West Virginia blue and gold myself, right? So I don't like Marshall, I don't like Pitt, I don't like all the same teams that we shouldn't like. But I do love Chris. So again, I have a ton of respect for what he's done and the team he's built. But it's a little extra special when you can beat Marshall, for sure.
How important was it for Chris to get that first goal for him?
Yeah, I mean, we'll take it anyway. We want him to be a little more dynamic and an attacking threat for us. We'd like to see a little bit more from that end of the pitch. I actually thought he had a couple of moments. I think he set Crooksey's chance up where Crooksey hit the post. We've done a lot of work in that area of the pitch as to one more pass, improve the likelihood of the goal's outcome. And at times today, I thought we did that brilliantly. I mean, Marcus should have an assist, right? He squares it to Yatara, maybe it takes a bobble, maybe he should take a touch. But the extra pass today was incredibly important against a team that gave us transition opportunities, gave us attacking overloads. So in that regard, we executed incredibly well. Maybe the final finish wasn't quite there every time, but having said that, we scored some fantastic goals today as well.
Yeah, and then the students. You talked about the fans in general, but the students were lined up for 2 hours before the game.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
First come, first serve.
Yeah.
What can you say about them? Not just tonight, but all season, really.
Yeah, fantastic, right? I think the one thing we had going for us in 2021 was we had a number 3 contest with Pitt coming here, and I think it was the first home game of the season, first home game after COVID, and they packed the place, and we got over the line, right? And that kind of triggered the rest of the season and the high attendance that we had throughout the rest of the season. So we've had to wait a little bit longer to have that type of game, perhaps. Obviously Portland number 3 as well, but on the same day as a football game, a little tricky to draw the excitement. But yeah, like I said, my biggest hope today is that those bleachers stay right where they are and they're packed again the next time we come out here.
Have you had a crowd like this? I mean, I'm probably not here, but I mean, anywhere have you? A crowd like this for a college game?
I mean, at Marshall, yeah, it draws both ways, right? So, yeah, it's fantastic. Like you have to say, it takes them to be as good as they are, and it takes us to be right up there too, for us to have the type of attendance and crowd. You know, we're gonna have to go back there next year. We may well face one another in the conference tournament, and I'm sure they'll want their blood and they'll want their chance to create the most ruckus, rowdy environment they can. But you can't question whether or not my players are capable of playing on the big stage and on a big occasion like tonight, and that's probably what I'm most proud of, because I don't know that we'd had to answer that question up until this point in the season. So to do it the way we did against number one team in the country makes me incredibly proud.
Good.